Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today we got a brand new trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania! And yeah, brand new Marvel movie. This is going to be, I believe, the beginning of Phase 5, because Wakanda Forever should be the end of Phase 4. I know, do the phases even actually matter anymore? Who knows? But look, beginning of Phase 5, and the significant thing, of course, about this movie is that this is going to have Kang the Conqueror, who is, you know, of course, with the next Avengers movie being called the Kang Dynasty, he's pretty much being set up to be the main big bad, at least for the next several movies and like the next phase, you know. So yeah, pretty exciting. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, yes, I've already watched this trailer. It came out, and they always do this, it came out like early in the morning. Look, I got a full-time job. I'm not gonna like spend all day not having watched this trailer and then like try to avoid spoilers all day. Like, no. I watched it as soon as it came out, and there you go. You know, so I'm not even gonna fake it and be like, ooh, what's this? What? You know, no, I've seen it. Okay, but let's go ahead and watch it, and then we're gonna go through it a little bit, and we'll just talk about it. Here we go.
I used to ask myself a lot of questions. Scott, you're at ex-con. How are you an Avenger? That doesn't make sense.
Province.
But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
He's like famous for himself, huh? Spider-Man.
People still need help, Dad.
That's why we made this.
Like a satellite for deep space, but quanta.
Wait a minute. You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off.
Yeah, who made that?
Now.
Who are they saying made all this? At least they don't need a van anymore. I mean, last time they needed like a big van in order to do this.
Where are we?
Some people were saying that this was a Melody Brown song. What? Yeah, what is that guy?
It's a secret universe beneath ours.
Secret universe.
What are you so afraid of? There's something I never told you.
Kind of energy orb.
It isn't what you think.
Of course, our first look at Kang.
I can get you home. And give you more time.
We're gonna have to go
If you
through all
help
that. I
me.
don't know what's going on there. It is.
So, what's it gonna be? Ant-Man.
Got the marks on his face, which is interesting. Yeah, and the Wasp. When's this coming out? Oh, February. Okay. February. Okay, here, let's go ahead and put it on mute, and we're just gonna go through all this. So of course, yes, Scott Lang here. He is he's famous now. The boss, employee of the century. I didn't even read that the first time. Okay, so you know, I guess it totally makes sense that like, yeah, Baskin Robbins is gonna take full advantage of like we had an Avenger working here, and look, I just noticed they got his uniform on the back, like they got it framed. That is hilarious, and I'm so glad they did this. That's a great joke. Yeah, I mean, I guess in the last movie he was under house arrest, so they couldn't have done it then, because technically he was like, oh, well, he's a criminal, right? Like he helped, you know, he went against the Sokovia Accords and all that. But now this is even further. This is 5+ years later, so I guess it all makes sense, right? Everyone should be significantly older, right? Like everyone else, not Scott Lang, obviously, but because I'm gonna say right now that I want to say, and I'm sure other people know better than me, but Spider-Man No Way Home took place 1 year after Endgame, right? So that would be 2024. And so I want to say it's already been another year. So this might be 2025 at this point. when this movie's taking place. But I might be wrong. But I want to say that like all the TV shows happening and everything, like it's been like 2 years now, because they were at 2023 at Endgame, so now they're like 2025. Anyways, now what happened here exactly? Like it looks like he gave him a high five, and then like the kid's like looking at his hand like, oh, or maybe he's just amazed that he got a high five. I don't know. And they're like a famous couple now. So look, we heard, I think in Miss Marvel, that Scott Lang was doing podcasts and stuff like that, right? Like, so we've seen that, like, you know, maybe it's even from him where they know like what happened during that in-game fight, because we've seen several different shows like, okay, the public knows what happened, a very detailed account of what happened even. So maybe it was Scott Lang in that one podcast where like that's what happened. So what is this, award show? Who knows? But he's like living the good life. He's got and of course this guy calls him Spider-Man. Now I kind of made a joke on Twitter like, okay, so everyone knew who Spider-Man was, and then everyone forgot who Spider-Man was, or they forgot who Peter Parker was. They still know that Spider-Man exists. So I was kind of wondering, I was like, wait, so I wonder if there's like a reason why, you know, they know Ant-Man, and Ant-Man is, you know, everyone knows it's Scott Lang, no secret identity there. So I wonder if there's like some weird confusion as to why they would think he's Spider-Man or something, because they're like, I thought, you know, maybe some of them are like, I knew who Spider-Man's identity was, but I can't remember. Maybe it's Scott Lang, you know? I don't know. It's just interesting to think about, you know, their minds all got erased, remember? So, or at least, you know, that Peter Parker part did. So she says that we made this. Now this is, so Scott Lang's daughter, Cassie, right? I'm trying to like do the math here. I don't know how old she was in the first Ant-Man, right? But let's say she was maybe 7 or 6. Like she was like a child, right? And then the blip happens, so it's like 5 years. And then you can say maybe this is another 2 years. So I guess she'd be maybe 16, 17 here. Not sure. But here's the weird thing about this scene. So did she make this quantum signifier thing? Because Janet is surprised, and Janet did not know that this was a thing, right? So did she make it like in secret, or was she working with Hank to make it? Or interesting. I wonder what the deal was, because she's like panicking. She's like, no, you shouldn't have made that, you know? So, and again, I know they all got blipped for 5 years, but if it's been 2 years since then, Janet has had plenty of time to, you know, explain like, what exactly were you doing all that time in the quantum realm? Like, how did you survive? What did you eat? You know, like, how you were there for like, what, 20 years? Maybe even more, right? So like, what'd you do? So they're here in the quantum realm. Now, interestingly enough, she doesn't need a suit, it looks like. Now, you know, they're just making all this up as it goes, right? So the rules of the quantum realm. But like in Ant-Man 2, they all needed suits, right? Like, then wasn't that a whole thing that they needed suits? But she's got regular street clothes on and seems fine. Now these people are interesting. So look, I don't know if it's ever explained in the comics. I don't know. But what exactly does it mean for there to be humanoid life in the quantum realm, right? Because you're so small that you live in this strange realm between time and space, basically, where there's like time portals, and you know, you can do the whole time heist thing if you go through the right portal, right? So like, what, you know, is this guy an electron? Like, what is he supposed to be? But then there's like human looking characters, so it's like, well, hold on, if he's like an electron, you know, if he's like that and you know, atomically small, then what is that human character? What is she made out of? Like, if you were to like take a part of her DNA, is it even smaller DNA? Because they're already at a micro level. So like, you know, like if you think about it too much, it doesn't make any sense that there would be a human looking character here, because like, you know, like you humans made out of atoms, and you're even more like, unless you were originally a normal human and then you also got just taken to the quantum realm like Ant-Man and his crew are, I guess that could happen. I got questions. I got so many questions, because you see some of these other guys with like the glowy looking heads, like orange and blue heads over there. Like, okay, they're not human, they're like atomic particle people. That makes a lot more sense than humanoid looking characters, and there's several humans here. So I don't know. What are the rules? They're making them up as they go. It doesn't matter. It's, if you think about it too much, none of it makes any sense, so it doesn't matter. It's just have fun, you know. Now these, interestingly enough, these portals, these like tunnels that you see them going through here, these kind of look like the time heist portals that the Avengers went through. In fact, this might be a flashback that Janet is having, maybe, because we see them go through, these like figures are going through several different portals. They're like separating. So I don't know. Well, does it make any sense for, no, because Janet was already dusted by the time they did the time heist. Well, unless because they were time traveling, so maybe somehow it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Yeah, time travel and subatomic stuff at the same time, it's all getting complicated. My point is, you know, in Endgame, people here in the quantum realm would have been able to see the Avengers like rocketing through these tunnels in order to get to different points in time, right? So that's how that would have happened. So yeah, of course there is this giant city that we kind of saw in the background. Now this ball of energy, it seems like it's going to be important plot wise, and we see it's Kang's hand who's putting it there. And this, as you can see, like, look how far in the background it goes. Like, there's an entire city civilization here. We see an army of what look like blue helmeted soldiers. Now, it'd be real crazy if they were all Kangs. Wouldn't that be crazy? I don't think that's the case, but like, if all of those were just Kangs, just an army of Kangs, just endless Kangs. And of course, we see our first look at him here. I think he does have the blue helmet on, actually. It's just more obscured. Now, the blue helmet thing, I'm thinking that's just going to end up being like a visor type deal. And we got like a cantina, Star Wars cantina scene. And it's, again, it's bizarre because it's like, what kind of life could survive down here for this long in this like subatomic world, you know? Like, they're all, some of them are insectoid looking, some of them, like Bill Murray here, it's like he just looks like a human. How's that possible? Where did he come from? Where did all these humans come from? We see all these like Kang drones surrounding them, and then whatever this thing is. Yeah, and now this is one of the most curious aspects of what's going on here. So we have Scott Lang down on the ground looking up at someone else wearing the Ant-Man suit. Some people think maybe it's a past version of himself, like an alternate timeline version, or, you know, because like he gets like shredded into, you know, weird noodles, and then the helmet falls off. So like, who know? I cannot even begin to explain like what might be happening here. Like, is it him seeing a different version of himself doing the same thing? And actually, I didn't even realize. Look in front of him. Look down here to the bottom right. These look like a bunch of other Ant-Mans. A bunch of other Ant-Mans. Yeah, there's like 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. They're all wearing the Ant-Man costume. So I think there's like some crazy, oh my god, I didn't even notice. There's an army of them way back here in the background. Oh my god. Okay, so an army of Ant-Mans are running towards something, and the giant man, I guess the one that just turns giant, he gets all shredded and evaporated. Okay, interesting sequence. That sounds like it's gonna be like near the end of the movie, and it's gonna be like real trippy. Maybe like timeline wise, all the different Ant-Man timelines converge on one spot. So Cassie at some point is going to get her own super suit, and we have Kang here, which, here, let's rewind. Okay, so here we go. Good look at Kang here. And yeah, what's up with the face? Okay, so obviously in the comics he's got like a blue mask on, and here, yeah, he's got the blue face. His eyes are all whited out. Is it some kind of protective visor that he's wearing, or Who knows? Because obviously he doesn't have it on the whole time. Like, it's, you know, he takes it off at some point. So don't really know what is happening there. And then of course, here we go. Now, interesting point out. Well, first, the armor. He's got the Kang armor. It looks awesome. But he's got the scars on his face that, you know, those are like the classic Kang scars on the face. So at some points in the movie, he is going to have the blue face that everyone knows from the comics. And then other times he's going to take that helmet, visor, whatever it is, off. But he does still have the lines on his face, which is interesting. So, you know, of course, we know that He Who Remains was another Kang variant, and he was essentially keeping the timeline intact, which would prevent any other Kangs from existing. But because he died, that's no longer the case, and the timeline split, and now here we go. Now we have another Kang, right? And seemingly, because there would be endless timelines, you would have endless Kangs that they would have to come across, right? So here we go. We see the results of the end of Loki season 1 is this movie here with this Kang. Now, are they going to somehow address those events? Is he going to make reference to the fact that, like, oh yeah, I only exist now, which means something must have happened to that other guy, because, you know, otherwise I shouldn't be able to be here. Maybe he'll say something like that. I don't know. And what is it that he wants Scott Lang to steal for him? Some people have said something about a time chair, which that just sounds like another time travel device, which I don't know if he would need that, right? Because even He Who Remains had like a little wrist thing, right? So kind of seems like he would just have one of those. I don't know. Interesting. But yeah, Kang's here, and the cool thing, the idea really, is that Kang can be defeated and even killed over and over again. But there's always going to be another one from another timeline, another future, another past. There's going to be another Kang, right? So even if like somehow they end up defeating this Kang and they're like, everything's fine, of course, Avengers Kang Dynasty is going to come out and it's going to be like, no, everything is not fine. You know, so he'll come back somehow. So whether it's this exact version we're seeing now or if it's a different version, who knows? But yeah, very interesting stuff. And I believe the rumor, the idea is that he is not the main villain of this movie. He's more like the guy pulling the strings from behind the scenes. The actual guy that Scott Lang's gonna end up fighting is oh man, what's his name? Machine only for destroying or something. It's Mogo or the giant face guy. Oh my god, I can't remember his name. Anyways, he's a big robot cyborg who has his entire torso is taken up by a giant face, and machine only for killing, something like that. That's his name. You know, I know someone's gonna correct me, but anyways, supposedly that cyborg killing machine is the actual villain of this movie, and Kang will sort of be like the background. Like, remember Thanos in the first Guardians, how he was like, oh, I'm here, but I'm not really the villain of this movie, but I'm reminding the audience that I'm here, you know? Like, that's essentially what's happening with Kang here. But yeah, pretty cool, pretty awesome. I'm really excited for this one. It feels like, you know, like all of Phase 4, they've been sort of like dabbling in the multiverse in different ways, but it hasn't really felt cohesive. You know, like Spider-Man's situation was different than Loki's situation, which was different than Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness situation. You know, they all dealt with the multiverse, but none of them were like directly connected with each other. But this movie feels like the first time that, like, no, this is a direct result because of what happened in Loki. Loki happened, now this movie can happen. You know, like, it feels like there's some connective tissue here that has kind of been missing. You know, because like I said, all this multiverse stuff happened, but like none of it was really talking to each other or being caused by the same event at all. You know, it's like all separate events that didn't have anything to do with each other. You know, so this one feels really exciting, and it feels like we're really getting to it, you know. So yeah, February. I'm excited. I'm excited for this movie. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your theories as to like how many Kangs are we gonna deal with? How many? Is this really the main one, or is this like just one that's gonna die this movie? But obviously a different one's gonna come back. Who knows? You know, like Jonathan Majors can just like, they can change his hairstyle, they can give him different face markings and just be like, it's a different Kang now, you know? So that's kind of a really cool way they can do this, you know, because obviously the way he acts in this trailer is not the way that the version acted at the end of Loki, because it's a different guy, but it's the same guy, you know? So real fun. Lots of fun stuff happening there. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.